I have to say my nephew is a very, very tough audience. He's only 13 years old. And whenever you have a chat with him about movies that he likes or watches, he says, yeah, I finished that film in 35, 40 minutes. He'll finish a 2 hour film in 40 minutes because he fast forwards the boring parts. So it's very tricky to get his attention. And when I showed him SherShaah, I told him, I said, any parts, even though I showed him on the big screen, I said, were there any parts you wanted to fast forward? He's like, no, not at all. My brother would always look at me after a good scene and give me a thumbs up. And then I sat with my father, who was putting his hand on my shoulder after every scene and bit, and by the end of it, they were all in tears. I don't want to change myself to adapt to a certain industry or a certain norm. I feel I'll be faking it. Of course, today we have various examples that people just like to scream and shout everywhere and get attention, but I'm not judging them. I just feel that's not me, and just like they are being themselves, I'm being myself. And it's today fitting in because of the love that the film gets, and people connect to me as that character on that film more than me in real life like this.
So before SherShaah released, I spoke to Sidharth, and much before everybody knew about this film, because I knew about what he was planning to do. I am super proud of what Sidharth has done in SherShaah, and I feel that more than a validation and vindication that he has got with this film, I feel I also stand vindicated for always believing that he has so much more to offer. So welcoming Sidharth Malhotra in conversation with me on Bollywood Bubble. Thank you for doing this. Although I'm upset, but maaf kiya, chalo.
Well, thank you, Nayan. Thank you for the lovely, kind words. And yes, you've been a very, very solid and positive support all these years. And I always love, appreciated our chats, whether it's on camera, whether it's off camera. So thank you so much. And I'm really happy to do this chat with you today because we have, as you said, there's so much to celebrate the love coming my way for SherShaah.
You know, Sidharth, even before the film released, there were a lot of people who questioned a lot of things. But the same people, actually, I've seen people sending me messages saying that, ask him to do these kind of films more because he's so good in the film. So, ek to hai ki people who have always supported you, they loved you in the film because the film was anyway such a monumental film. But the people who have always judged you, questioned you, also loved it. Does that give you a sense of validation?
Given a film or a performance that they also come into that pool of something that they would like your performance, or they connect with your character. So of course, I think this is something that every actor wants. This is the most valuable thing that I have today. It's better than any other financial gain. It's better than any other personal gain, I would say as well. That to gain this kind of love and appreciation unanimously for my performance in film, and I think this is something that I hold immensely valuable and close to me. This is my true goal, my true value, and now it's also a great motivator because now I just want to keep be at it and dive into work, and that's exactly what I did after we released SherShaah. A few days after, less than a week, I went back into work, into my next project, and dived into just prepping for that scene, that character, those bits, and it was really giving me a sense of balance and a sense of excitement and a sense of passion that it's that karna hi hai. We have to do better, we have to do different things. So I'm really enjoying this phase and appreciate all the love coming my way and this true gold and valuable kind of response and love.
What was your family's reaction to the movie? Because I know that before every movie you have that screening with your family and you actually look out for their response. I want to know what your family, including your nephew, I want to know what was their reaction to this.
I have to say my nephew is a very, very tough audience. He's only 13 years old. And whenever you have a chat with him about movies that he likes or watches, he says, yeah, I finished that film in 35, 40 minutes. He'll finish a 2 hour film in 40 minutes because he fast forwards the boring parts. So it's very tricky to get his attention. And when I showed him SherShaah, I told him, I said, any parts, even though I showed him on the big screen, I said, were there any parts you wanted to pass forward? He's like, no, not at all. And it was quite engaging and it was quite fast. So him being a young teen in my life was a very difficult audience to please, but was found it very engaging and found our film very fast as an action film. And when you talk about my family, again, all thanks to the Indian Army, when we did the screening in Delhi, I could show all of them on the big screen as the film was meant to be. And I remember first, I sat with my mom first, with my mom and brother, and every bit that she would ask me questions, "Ji, अरे ये असली में वहाँ shoot किया तुमने? ये action हुआ है?" So then I realized that they're the wrong audience to sit with, because they will not watch the film, they will ask me questions. So I stepped away a bit. But then they were always, my brother would always look at me after a good scene and give me a thumbs up. And then I sat with my father, who was putting his hand on my shoulder after every scene and bit, and by the end of it, they were all in tears, and they were extremely emotional because of the climax of the film. And they all feel that this is my best performance, and they also were so embroiled in the film and the story and the character that they felt that they're seeing another boy and not me as what they know.
Not many people know this, that before everything got locked in the film, you were the first person who was approached for a film, which is not ideally how it happens in the movie business, but the film came to you, like the brother approached you to play his own brother on screen.
Yes.
Now that the film is getting so much love, it's being celebrated, not just Vikram Batra's life. I feel even Dimple Chima's sacrifice and love is being celebrated so much. How do you feel? Like, do you feel a sense of vindication ki you put this together, and do you feel like, acha, ab main to matlab aista I can go towards production also?
Well, absolutely. It's you feel responsible for a project and a film that you're pushing and around and holding on to for many, many years, because people wonder, people question. We had when 5 years ago, when I met the family, we had a different production house, different team, and so when I take that move and message to take it to my debut production house, which is Dharma Production, which I hadn't worked for many years. I hadn't done a Dharma film for a couple of years now, and then eventually me taking, after a few years, and I think this is a film that Dharma's never made. They had not done a biopic at that time. You feel a sense of responsibility that you are putting your reputation and your intention behind a film and a script, and today with the final result, this being Dharma's most loved film ever, at least on IMDb, when we get an 8.9 rating, when the kind of love and appreciation and the respect that even Dharma Productions, our whole team, or even what I get, is a sense of validation that there was a sense of instinct. I have been involved in this film, various projects, various phases of this film, whether it's the writing bit, whether it's the planning bit at times, and of course eventually whether it's the bits of the edit, or whether bits of the songs. So I have been a constant, not because of wanting to control anything, but just from a sense of passion, from a sense of passion to make this film in a certain way, so that it gets that kind of response and that kind of respect. So it feels great when people give you this love along with respect. I think to earn respect in our profession, in our craft, is the most difficult thing. And I'm extremely grateful, to get this response, which is very overwhelming and very different from my past films. People are messaging me about small scenes, small gestures. So many people have cried in the end. They feel that it's a very clean film which every Indian should watch. So all these are very, very solid statements to make, and to know that this is something that I held on for 5 years. It gives me a great sense of validation and makes me feel great. So thank you to everyone.
I've always said this to you, that you've never been a person who like these kind of publicity gimmicks or doing. You don't push yourself for PR, which is something that also your fans will agree to. That they don't get to see too much of you. You don't speak about it too often. You don't tom. But at the same time, when there's something like this, somewhere there was a point where you used to feel like a misfit, right? Because of the ideologies that you have towards your profession. Do you somewhere feel that is going away, or maybe you're trying to, you're fitting in a better way?
Because I think, see, I've always said this, I don't want to change myself to adapt to a certain industry or a certain norm. I feel I'll be faking it. I feel I only know how to be myself. That's the only person that I know, and this is who I am. Of course, there's nothing wrong with people who are a certain way to do in the industry. There's no one correct way to push yourself or talk about it. I personally like to lie low a bit and do some bits when like today. Like I think when my work speaks for my PR and my name, I think that's the correct way of doing it. Possibly because of the background that I come from. Because I don't come. That's what I feel. If you do your work well, eventually you will get that kind of adulation and attention and the love that you need. Though, of course, today we have various examples that people just like to scream and shout everywhere and get attention, but I'm not judging them. I just feel that's not me, and just like they are being themselves, I'm being being myself. And it's today fitting in because of the love that the film gets, and people connect to me as that character on that film more than me in real life like this.
Sidharth, I'll always say this, and I will continue till the last day of my life. Although, yes, I was a little upset because we couldn't speak and all, but I am somebody who will always celebrate your victories, and your losses will also be a lot more personal than everybody else's. I don't know how and why that has happened, but that is how it is, and I have to tell you this. And I'm just happy. And the way your career has shaped up, the way people have changed their perception about you, because it's high time they do. And I only hope that with every film you do, we do a success interview and you kill it with every film.
So sweet. Thank you so much, Nayan. I think that means a lot to have these chats. As I said, I've interacted with enough people from the media over the years, and you don't always feel that sense of warmth or genuineness from everyone. And I think it's great to have people like you who will give you a sense of positivity after every interview and chat, which is sometimes that we all actors need. We're all sensitive beings. We're all working really hard to achieve something. And I'm really happy to share this moment with you today because of the love and adulation that SherShaah has got. And yes, cheers to many, many more. And that's the reason I'm working hard and going back to work immediately. So thank you to everyone, and cheers to many, many more.